Go ahead and give a countdown when you guys are ready.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna just look at the restream so I know everything is looking good. Everything looks good, yeah.
All right.
So just go get to where the timer starts if you want.
All right.
All right, so I think at this point, yeah, we're on stream. So hey everybody.
All right.
This is going to be a race of a game called OneShot. There might be some people in chat who know it and some people who don't, so I hope everybody enjoys it either way. Either way, for the sake of reference of voices, I'm LaurieDeBeaver.
I am durrbill.
So I'm going through these text boxes because the timer will start on when we gain control of our character.
Yeah.
So
All right. You ready?
tell me, all right, you ready? Are you on the thing?
Yep.
All right, I'll do countdown.
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, so right here, immediately we have to get out of this room. All right, I inputted my password kind of poorly. I think you actually start by doing the branch before the TV remote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I've never done that, and I think it might be faster.
I haven't timed that actually. I probably should.
But I do the TV remote first, so this game is kind of known for bending the realm of possibilities with your PC. So we're going to have things happen where, like, there's going to be message boxes that are kind of like Windows text boxes that you might not be able to see on stream. And we're also going to have parts where there's stuff happening in our documents that we're going to manage in order to get passcodes. But right now we're just heading into the basement. Right now we're just heading into the basement to get the light bulb. The light bulb is very important in this game. I'll explain it in a little bit when we get to the part of the game where we learn that in the story. But, because coming up, we're going to get out of this house, which is kind of the tutorial area. And that's where we're really going to start getting into what makes this run what it is.
It's very obscure, to say the least. It's like very different from basically any other normal speedrun.
Also, there is, for those who want to donate money to this charity, we have a bid war for which donation, or for which ending we're going to choose. There's the Return the Sun ending, and then the Return Nico Home. So, I'm right here. I'm back. So, I'm sorry. I'm having a bit of an internet problem today. So, what's going on in the story right now is we're basically learning the significance of everything. So, right now we're learning that us, the playable character right now that we're playing as, we're controlling Nico, but Nico is not who we are in the game. We are a sort of god, like the person actually playing me right now, and you, even. And we're kind of like the god of this world, the celestial being, if you must. And we have to kind of do everything. There are these instances in the game where you have to close the game and reopen them in these beds. Every single major area, Nico is going to want to go to sleep, and there's going to be this dream section. And it's kind of a bit of character bonding each time this happens, but the dreams can pertain relevance to the story, such as later in the run, but for now it doesn't really. But going back to what I was saying earlier, fast travel is going to be important because we're going to do a move. Fast travel is you're about to see it on my screen. You're going to enter an area. Well, actually, wait, no, I have to turn the metal bar into the crowbar first. We're going to enter an area, and then when you enter the area, what happens is you immediately fast travel to a previous area and then fast travel into the new area you just entered. And because whenever you fast travel to a screen, you'll fast travel to somewhere, you'll fast travel to some sort of default position that the game determines. And sometimes it's faster to fast travel off and back on the screen than to walk to where the game would normally fast travel you. So it's extremely useful in just cutting down walking time. And coming up...
The first part of this game is pretty crazy with that fast travel stuff. There's like 8 different areas that you got to fast travel to in different points. So.
And for clarification, durrbill, not me, the other person, is currently the world record holder for this game in basically every category. This category, the world record is 26 minutes 26 seconds by durrbill here.
I would say yesterday.
Yeah, which you set just yesterday, so good job on that. My current PB is 27:49, but it has a bit of outdated everything. So if I'm playing good, which I already had to fix OBS, so that might be a problem, I might PB. Who knows? I don't think I'm on good pace right now, though. Again, the OBS disconnected.
I've already messed up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so coming up to this section, you might have noticed a lot of robots that were not activated because we need a battery. And so right now I'm going to craft and then charge a battery. And what that's going to do basically is let us activate the robots, and that will allow us to, and all the electronics really, and that will allow us to continue into the Barrens. Really, this game is all about the puzzles where you combine items or use items in certain locations. I got shocked.
Oof.
I don't know if getting shocked is random or an input-based thing.
It's input.
It's input? I'm bad then.
Yeah.
All right, so coming up, my documents just got a notepad got put in them, and that has a code for this safe. And I guess I should clarify this now. So the TV remote at the beginning of the run, that code is set as soon as you start the game. So, like, you can not use the TV remote and still guess the code to the computer. This save, even in its hash setting, it's impossible to guess the code because the code doesn't work. Even if you get a code, you guess a code and then get the notepad, and that was the right code, the code won't work until you talk to that computer and get the notepad. But, like, turning on, that's another instance of what this game kind of does to your computer. We're going to be skipping other things the game does to your computer because we already, there's not too many randomized puzzle solutions. Like, the code at the beginning and that code right there with the safe are really the only randomized puzzle solutions. The rest of them are set. So we will have to get the computer hints because we'll already know what the puzzle solutions are. But one thing to keep in mind, I'm trying to talk, is, so the technology stuff, that computer is a big part of this game. And they're not really too story relevant until a much later point in the game, but I'll talk about that when it happens. For now, I don't quite know exactly where you are, but I'm heading into the final section I'm heading into the shrimp swamp now. And I'm going to go back to talking about okay, sorry. Where are you?
I'm cleaning out the robot right now.
Oh, geez, you're so far ahead. OBS disconnecting. So, again, a lot of this game is about using items in the right spot and then combining the right items. And that's what kind of makes this speed game interesting. Is one thing I've noticed is that a while back is that there are speedruns of Ace Attorney, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But then you realize it's a lot of menuing and making sure your inputs are good. And this is another game kind of similar to that, where a lot of the speedrun is about making sure your inputs in your menu is good. And therefore, it's a pretty good speed game for if you want to, like, get your hands faster. Because to get a good time in this game, you'll have to move your hands really fast to correctly travel through the menus. And also text mashing. There's quite a few cutscenes in this game. This is a rather big game in the story. Right now, our main goal is to take this sun to the top of the tower. We're under the illusion right now. We're not 100% sure. There seems to be a bit of confliction. Right now, our goal, though, is to get to the middle of the world to put the sun, which is this light bulb, atop the tower. And that will save the world from how it's falling and also return our main character home to their world. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm playing a game of chess. This is just a cutscene. So I'm trying to fix a robot that will take us to the second major area of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if you're already like on the cutscene, boat cutscene.
Yeah, I'm on the cutscene of it right now.
Yeah, I just got the amber.
Yeah.
So the amber is an item that will come into play later, but for now we need to use it so the robot remembers where to go. And that's the Barrens. You can't return to areas in this game, so once we leave the Barrens, we can never come back. Well, I mean, technically, you can go back to the Barrens, but that's a complicated process that doesn't matter for the any % run. So, won't matter. The Glen, second major area in the game, the first thing, a common theme in this game is you kind of have to do things to majorly advance the plot. That doesn't seem so major firsthand. So, like, right now, the goal to get out of the Glen and get to the third area is going to literally be making a feather pen. But the steps we're going to take and what we have to do in order to create a feather pen is going to be so, like, dynamic, and it's going to have a lot of, like, development between characters and also important events happening just to do something so simple. And it's kind of a nice little charm I always thought was nice about this game. So the first step, we're going to be saving Alula. Alula is the sister of Calamus, who is this character on my screen. Calamus is my favorite character in the game. I'm just going to say that. But this part is actually the first time. I mentioned the safe puzzle where we needed to talk to that computer in the Barrens. This is going to be the first puzzle involving the computer that isn't randomized, so we won't need to talk to a computer. Usually there would be a computer somewhere in these ruins that would change our desktop background to be the solution to a puzzle coming up pretty soon. But that puzzle solution, unlike some of the other puzzles, is completely set, so we won't need to go to that computer, and it just saves time. You probably gave, at this point, I'm judging, I'm not looking at the stream, so I can't tell how far ahead you are. You're probably just given the sun to Maze by now. And
I just completed actually the late puzzle that you just described.
I'm so far behind. I did already have to fix an OBS disconnect though, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's a problem. But yeah, so talking to Maze and giving her the sun will help her relax before she passes away, because she's going to pass away. She's very not well. But when we help her relax, it removes some of the vines, so we'll be able to traverse more of the ruins, and that includes saving Alula, which you're probably doing just about now. You're close to the greatest thing in the world. I believe audio is coming from my stream. If somebody in chat knows and wants to correct me or not, if audio is coming from my stream. Because I'm probably going to give a sound warning for that part. Alright, so Alula on my end. So you kind of do a mix and match here. So obviously the two things you need for a feather pen are a feather and ink. And so you kind of like do half of the quest for the feather, and then just halfway through stop doing the feather quest and do the ink quest. It's pretty interesting. So now I have Alula following me, and I'm going to take Alula down here out of the ruins. And just a warning coming up, I'm going to be doing a ram pushing puzzle. Yes, you heard that right. Ram pushing. There are going to be a lot of kind of loud, repetitive sounds, so if you don't like that, mute the stream for like 20 seconds.
I just made a dire mistake, and I actually said no to his choice I should have said yes to, so I need to do a lot of extra traveling.
Oh yeah, so I'm going to explain that, because that's going to come up for me shortly. After you return Alula to Calamus, because Alula was stuck behind vines. Also, the puzzle's over. People won't hear that, but they'll see no more rams. So you're going to return Alula to Calamus, and what's going to happen is you're going to be invited over. You're required to go there to get the feather for the feather pen. Oh, I need to equip the wool. Alright, I didn't get the shirt. So, you're required to go there anyways, so when you're invited, you want to say yes, because that'll bring a cutscene that'll automatically take you right to the ruins. And since you accidentally said no because you were mashing too fast, you have to walk there. So I don't know what you're doing right now, but I just got warped to the house.
I just got the light bulb back from where Maze passed away.
That's okay. At least you remember the light bulb. So one little meme about this community is, you can forget the light bulb from Maze, and since the light bulb is obviously very important in saving the world, if you forget that, the robot that's guarding the entrance to the third major area will be like, "Are you forgetting something?" And it makes us cry when we see that message.
Truly.
So fortunately, we're not going to see it because I'm going to get the light bulb right now. I can hear the mashing.
Oh, yeah, I'm going mad on my keyboard right now.
Yeah. You're probably in the squares tunnel right now.
No, I forgot to combine the ink and the pen, and I tried to just give him the normal feather.
Did you sleep?
Yeah, I slept.
Okay, good. Yeah, so sleeps are routed differently. Like, 2 areas, they're routed in immediately, but then this one, the sleep is routed in literally right at the end. Also, a little bit of movement tech there. Right there, I actually walked up like 3 tiles before actually sleeping in the bed. So in cutscenes in this game, so obviously, as you see, we're doing a movement, we're running. I'm holding down the shift key. You can make running automatically the default movement. I don't like to do that. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah, I do that.
I prefer to just hold down the shift key. But either way, you're going to be, in cutscenes, you're not going to be running. Even if your default movement is running, you're not going to be running in cutscenes. So, like, there was relevance to this, to what I was saying. So, okay, so when I talk to the bed, I want to talk to as close as I can where Nico will crawl into the bed, so that I spend more time running to where the sleep happens and less time walking. It's a minor optimization. I'm about to enter, and you're now in the third major area, the refuge.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about the elevator?
The elevator,
Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah,
probably. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to like put you on the spot or anything. But the major part, the refuge is split into 2 parts, and the major part is going to be, for the first half, is going to be the sky area. We're above the rails. We need to get to the ground, because what we need to do right now is get to the library, which is going to be where basically a ton of major stuff happens in our quest. But the library is not in the sky, so we have to get to the ground. But the elevator is broken, so our main goal right now is going to be go throughout the sky area of the refuge city. The city is called the Refuge, and we're going to create a magnetic elevator ground button. That's about all I have to say about that. And our third sleep happens in this area, like soon. I think it's right after you get the pot of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I trust your routes more than my own, so.
I think if you use the one from the old world record, it's the same as mine.
Yeah, that's what I saw when I learned this game, so I always try to remember to do it. So yeah, no, there's not too much to explain, because I've already gotten to the point where I've explained most, if not all, of the movement and speed tech. So
yeah,
at this point, the only thing to talk about is the game.
Actually, I want to do a little note on something called text crashing.
Oh, did you just text crash?
No, but I just want to explain it in case it does happen. So if there's ever a dialog box open and you are able to select either one or multiple choices, and you happen to hit the confirm and cancel button at the exact same time, the game will crash. Okay.
I don't know if it's the exact same time or if it's a really specific frame window.
I actually probably should test that just to be sure, but it's around, if they're roughly at the same time, the game will crash. You'll need to close it with Task Manager and manual. That'll pretty much ruin your run.
That's one thing.
Just straight up.
There's going to be a skip coming up in a little bit that's going to be involving closing the game. So you notice the game closes when we sleep. That's the quote-unquote proper way to close the game. This is a Steam game that you paid money for. So you obviously don't want to be cheated out of the game by closing the game. In the original freeware version of this game, if you closed the game without sleeping in a bed, you died. Not even joking. You opened the game, the sun was like on the title screen was dark. You clicked start, and it was just an empty screen, and then it just said Nico is dead. But this is a Steam game that you paid money for, so we can't have permanent unplayability. So when you close the game and then reopen it, there's going to be this, like, cutscene, kinda. That's like, oh, geez, what happened? I don't know what happened. Nico's very concerned. And for that, that's going to be useful in a skip in a little bit, but you can't close the game during cutscenes, and if you text crash, you can't really close the game properly. So in case of a backup, we have Task Manager open so that we can force close the game if we have a mistake. Like a big mistake that we need it for. It's more useful in Solstice, honestly, which is the post-game chapter, which does have runs of this, but we're not doing the post-game chapter today. In the elevator with the lamplighter, it's faster. I'm pretty sure it's faster to go through all 3 dialogue options other than wait in the awkward silence.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, because as soon as you talk to all 3 options, talk about the job, the city, and the
library.
The the elevator automatically ends. Where are you right now? Are you near the skip?
I'm in the library or the elevator right now.
Okay, I'm just about to enter the elevator.
I ended up getting the "You Tried" item because I missed the tape.
Wow. Okay, so yeah.
That's like the first time I've ever done that in any of my runs ever. So,
if you make the magnetized, if you put the fridge magnets on the ground coffee button and don't tape it, which is why we went to the office area to use the tape dispenser that's bolted to the table, you get an item called "You Tried" because you tried. Quite literally. So, coming up, we're heading into the ground section of the refuge, and there's going to be a major skip. So, this is where the difference between glitched and glitchless comes in. So I mentioned that cutscene where you close the game and then you reopen without being in a bed, and Nico gets really scared that like something bad is happening. So that cutscene is a bit unique because you can activate it at literally any point that you're not inside another cutscene. So what you can do is you can start walking, and then while walking onto another tile, you can close the game and reopen. And then the game will reopen. Nico will finish walking onto the tile you started walking on, and then that cutscene will play. And that cutscene can skip other cutscenes if you walk onto a tile. Like, for example, I just walked onto this tile. This tile usually has a cutscene, and I just skipped the cutscene by playing the Nico is frightened cutscene. However, what George did you get? What George did you get?
Oh, I got George 1.
Oh, I got 4. I don't know which one's faster. So George is a random character, but I'll explain that quickly. So by activating that cutscene is special because you're supposed to have a library card to get into this area, this back area that in the library that we're in now. So by activating that cutscene on top of where the library card is, what we did was that cutscene usually has a command that says push Nico back a tile so that Nico doesn't get into the library without a library card. But by skipping the cutscene, we skipped the command to make us push us back a tile. So we could just walk straight into the back of the library, skipping a ton of stuff.
It saves about 3 minutes in my practice.
Okay, yeah. You actually do glitchless runs, so you know.
Yeah.
Glitchless is not too good. So here we learn about the journal. What we're going to learn is there's an area called the tower. The tower is where we need to put the sun to the top of. It's where we need to put the sun to the top of, and we're going to learn about a floor pattern, which you're going to see quite obviously when you enter the tower. And we're also going to learn about yellow phosphor, and that's where George gave us a dice. So yellow phosphor is basically a yellow glow that signifies part of the old sun, the light bulb being the current sun. So the amber that we got from Silver in the Barrens and the feather that we got from Alula in the Glen are going to be the other 2 pieces of yellow phosphor, as well as the dice that George just gave us. George is a random character. Whenever you play, you have a random chance of her dice head showing the number 1 through 6. We don't know exactly who's fastest and slowest. What we theorize is that 5 is the fastest and 3 is the slowest, but it's not a lot of time difference. All right, so yeah, as you see the floor pattern, it's quite obvious we closed the game. So now we're heading into the last section. I'm going to try and talk a lot while focusing very deeply, so please excuse me if I slip up on commentary. So coming into the last section, there's a lot to explain. So basically, we have a program running in the background called underscore.exe, which is kind of weird. So we're going to sleep in a bed fairly soon. I don't know what you're doing right now. Are you talking to the computer?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So we're going to sleep in this bed, and what's going to happen is if we reopen the game without the underscore file open, our desktop background would once again change, telling us to find the underscore file. And because what's going to happen is right now at this point in the game, inside the computer is a character called the Entity, and the Entity is trying to not get you to the top of the tower, not for like villainous reasons. It's reasons that I'll go into fairly shortly. But what's happening basically is the underscore.exe is basically the author, the creator of this world basically, trying to communicate to you on what's going on and why you're trying to be stopped from going to the top of the tower. And what's basically going to happen is there's going to be dialogue boxes. There is usually a guide to the puzzle we're about to go through, like the maze that we're about to go through. We have it memorized, so we don't need to go through that maze, but there's a puzzle to figure out how to do it without just do the puzzle without just randomly going through it. So what's happening is the author during that puzzle is using that underscore file to basically try and communicate to us why and what the entity is doing. Or like what the entity is doing is why they're doing what they're doing. And what's going to happen is this is where we learn that if we want to return Nico home, which we always thought that returning the sun to the top of the tower would solve all the problems. Hold up. 2, 3, 1. All right. We're going to have to destroy the sun to return Nico home. So sorry, I'm trying to focus on this puzzle, on this maze.
Yeah.
4, 2... I messed it up in practice today. So basically, we're going to learn that... 2? Yeah, 2, 3, 2. All right, I got it. I got the doors. So we're going to learn that basically, in order to return Nico home, we're going to have to destroy the sun, which is where the bid war comes in. The bid war, by the way, is going to close in like 2 minutes.
Probably about 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah. So if you want a last-second donation snipe, try. So basically, yeah, we're learning that... hold up, I messed up that. We're going to be learning that, yeah, we can't do both. And the entity was trying to protect Nico, so we were trying to be prevented from going to the top of the tower, because because we're the god of this world, and we're inclined to save it. There's been a lot of world building. If we return the sun and don't return Nico home, we're to assume Nico is dead. At the top, like, just is sacrificed. So it's kind of a big, weighty decision about what you're going to be doing.
All right, we can end that bid war now.
Yeah, end the bid war. I'm trying to type in chat. All right, I tried to type in chat to end the bid war. I don't know if we got another donation. Return the sun. All right, so Mash left on the last cutscene.
All right.
So now basically, in my part of the game, I'm going to be walking through this long hallway. The entity is going to basically try and convince us to save Nico after we were convinced by the author that the world is ours and worth saving. So we're having...
you can kill time.
All right, so time for durrbill. Time for me is coming up in like a minute. Okay, that was a really loud error noise. So, kind of a little bit still complicated. So we kind of have conflictions between the author, the creator of this world, who's trying to communicate to us to save it, and the entity who's trying to stop us from getting to the top as much as he can in order to save Nico. This elevator is the scene where we're actually telling Nico what's going on, where we can't do both. And it's a very, in casual play, it's a very conflicting scene, and I really recommend you play this game. Time coming up for me in like 5 seconds, by the way. And time.
Nice.
All right, so a little bit more explanation. So like what's happening is there's this kind of big confliction, and you have to see what you decide. Now here's the thing, in this ending, you're gonna see the world basically be lit up again because the sun is here. So you're kind of, if you choose this ending, you can be lulled into a false sense of security, but that is this good ending, but that is not quite, because we basically just sacrificed Nico. There's a big conclusion and a lot more stuff in the post-game chapter of this game, but I ran the post-game chapter at Speed Stuff for Charity 3, the previous marathon, but I butchered the story in my commentary. I'd really just recommend playing the game for yourself and trying to understand what's going on. Because there is a lot, and it's definitely a great game. As you can tell, I've struggled explaining the story throughout the entire last, like, 4 minutes of the game. So, oh, geez. Alright, yeah, I don't really have too much to say anymore. I'm still awaiting to hear what my time was.
Well, as a whole, I wouldn't say it's a very great speed game, but more of one to experience, obviously, being more story-driven. It is it's pretty fun to speedrun. I wouldn't wholeheartedly recommend it, honestly, but
yeah, me neither.
if you want to give it a shot, just to do something different, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As I mentioned, it's good hand training. It's very intensive on your hands while you're doing keyboard mashing or very fast, like, menu movement. So if you want a little bit of like a hand wake up, or like a mental wake up with navigating menus, then I definitely recommend speedrunning this game. But even if you don't want to speedrun this game, please, please, please play it, especially because
$10 on Steam.
$10 on Steam, and we didn't even show the post-game cutscene or the post-game chapter, which is, if you think that this is good, the post-game chapter, like, pay attention to the story. It will absolutely, like, blow you for a loop. And that's all I have to say, really. Thank you for letting us run this. Congrats on the victory. That was actually a bit closer than I was expecting.
Oh, yeah, I really started to butcher myself in the middle there. Not a terrible run, but...
You tried.
And... Alright, so that's it.
And I guess if we're still on streams,